I'm a pretty decent looking guy, but like when people take pictures of me, it's not that great. But like, you know, we've got a dashing young lad here on the show. If you read our Twitter post, put that out there. He's almost as dashing as he is bright. One of the smartest people that we've really ever met. We've known him for a really long time, eh, Corey?
Yeah, I mean, in NFT time, it's been, you know, half our lives, right? Like that's, you know, he's you know, one of the OG of OGs in sort of uplift space, and you know, is just one of my favorite people. So yeah, Andre, thanks for coming on, man. And like I'm realizing in this moment, like, man, we need to do it more. And I think like because of what you're building, I'm excited to kind of let people, you know about it and kind of brainstorm how this kind of gets out into the world or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Because I think it's next level, and I think it's another one of those things that's going to be a genre, like you know. So maybe tell us, you know, a little bit about what you've been working on.
Absolutely. So I was just muting the YouTube because then it gets kind of with the echoing. Right now, I think when I met Corey, I had the idea of LAX Virtual Land. And I wanted to just jump and help and do all kinds of stuff. And I actually did for a little bit. And yeah, I just have too much work, honestly, you know, but I always wanted to build something that's meaningful for others and that can help others, like sort of make their lives easier, you know. And that's when LAX Virtual Land came about. So that was like a year or so ago. And now we are in the middle, or I'm in the middle of building top custom mugs. So I don't know, it's got the blur effect, but here you can see that. You can see the mug. So basically what it is, it's a website, topcustommugs.com, where you can go in right now with your Ethereum wallet, with a MetaMask wallet, and you can turn your NFTs into merch. So my idea is you no longer need whoever started the collection to have the merch available for you, you know, the way they want it. Right now, you can go in, choose your own NFTs. So it can only be done with your NFTs, and then turn that into a mug. Right now, it's a mug, so it's in the alpha stages. I have to test a lot of like the different image sizes and the proportions of it. So with the mug, I've already tested, I've already ordered it, so I feel comfortable, you know, putting it out there because I know that it's gonna come out as a good product. And that's my main thing, is make sure that everybody gets the best that they can from their NFTs, you know, because we have so much NFTs, so many of them, and we're often talking to people about like, and they're like, but it's just a JPEG. Like, what can you do with it? You know? So I'm like, okay, now you can do tons of stuff with it. So we're going to start with mugs. And then right now I'm building a second sort of like a beta version. This is the alpha release. So now I'm doing a beta version, which is going to include wax, and it's going to be exclusively for the Uplift, you know. So if you want to be part of this, you have to talk to Corey. And through that, you can get whitelisted. So my idea is I'm an uplifter 100%. And I want to make sure I prop up the Uplift as much as possible, as well as anybody who's there to support the Uplift and you know, go further with their collections and everything, that is already collaborating with that. Yes.
Hey, Corey, can I get whitelisted?
Maybe.
That looks really cool, man. It's really cool,
right? I mean, so this is gonna be some TC's already in the comments freaking out, which, you know, I just if for no other reason, having TC around, just be like, what? Because you know that's what he's doing. So we're working out some details and stuff. But basically, that like the core tenet is you need to have these NFTs in your wallet to have them work, right? Yeah. And so, you know, we can whitelist templates, obviously, for Uplift, you know, like the postcards or like the alpha wings or whatever, right? Like that, like having those things, you'll need to have them in your wallet, or you can't get the merch. Suck it up, buttercups, right?
Yep, exactly.
Dude, man, I want that cover image that we use from some of our shows, Uplifter Tower and Tuttle Gratitude Building wraparound, right? Like that would be a pretty sweet NFT, right?
We will need to mint those as NFTs in our collection.
Yes, I think that's a great idea. I was going there. Yes.
Right. So and when people submit that for us and like talk about freaking, runway or whatever, right? Like we need to get those NFTs out there. And then of course, it ends up being, good for top mugs because, welcome to fucking business shit land.
Hey, now
I need more coffee this morning. But this is where it gets, I think, weird. And Andre, tell me if I, am going too far down the rabbit hole here. So, UpLift is getting all these, NFT partners. We've already got a bunch on Wax, right? This system, I think, is going to provide, to Andre's point, it's going to provide a lot of value. It's going to provide a lot of, a really easy way for, projects to suddenly have a whole other layer of utility, right? Yeah. Like, oddly enough, the first one that comes to mind is like GRG the rapper. When he figures this out, he's going to fucking lose his mind, right? And he's going to love it. But that's like one of 100 amazing projects on Wax that are working or building inside the UpLift world and right. So we get to basically add this in, bake this into our community in a way that I think is going to be really amazing. People will start minting NFTs like we will, right? Specifically because we want to get this on, a mug or down the road a T-shirt or a hat or right. Like so all that stuff is coming, when Andre starts building the features out, right? Yeah, so Jimmy, like I love we can just end the show now. Like the second that I was like, wait a minute, like I want like this picture behind me or whatever on a mug. Like, well, it has to be an NFT first, and you need to own it. Right?
Yes.
Oh, so we need to own it, right? So here's my question, right? Like what if I want to create an NFT of one of my builds? Like, can I submit a requisition form? How much does this cost me? Can we make a one-of-one NFT for me so that it goes into our collection so that I can put it on a mug from their collection? Like, these are all possibilities, right?
100%.
Yeah, yes. I like it.
And I envisioned this something like that, like how the Wax Atomic Hub, how they have the minting within their application.
Yep.
The UpLift can have a minting feature just like this, where people can go in, or with Nifty, some kind of collaboration, where you can go in, create your NFT, and then have it available on your wallet, so you can turn it into. Right now, it's a mug, but I mean, we're going to have phone cases. We're going to have socks, T-shirts, canvases. So there are hundreds of products available. Obviously, we're going to be testing each one before we are like 100% sure that, it works. And for now, we're going to start with the smaller images. So socks, if you want socks with your plot on it or whatever it is, you'll be able to have that.
Even just like UpLift socks anyway, right? It's just like just the whole, that's pretty fun.
Like we've been walking around in department stores and stuff recently, picking up stuff like a couple kids and getting them ready. And it's funny because like my missus, after a year, she finally figured out what I do. And she keeps noticing like Minecraft's kind of big in Japan now. So there's all these like Minecraft pillows and things like that. And she's like, hey, look, that's your company. And I'm like, it's not really my company. Like we use it. Like I gotta get mobbed here. People are gonna be like, you own Minecraft? I'm like, no, we don't own Minecraft. We just use it as a base layer. But it's really quite fascinating, right? So Andre, I want to know this. Is there gonna be like So going to be like a QR code or something on the bottom of that mug that like leads to the NFT collection that like maybe, verifies something like that as well. Like, I'm kind of curious how this is all going to play back into the NFT space. Like, I would imagine that going out, from the NFT space in the real world is great. But like, you seem like the type of person who's thought of taking it both ways,
You're smarter than me, so
I'm definitely.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. That's an awesome idea. I think that's great, because then you can have also a way into propping up the collection. So if you are passionate about an NFT collection that you own, you can go out there. You can be at work. You can be wherever, and like, hey, just scan it, and you can go right into the buy-in page, or get your own NFTs, So I think it's a good way of getting stuff in the real world, but at the same time back into the NFT space. And what you're saying is just completing the cycle
One more question I have is, what if the NFT is a video? Am I able to take a screenshot of like one of the NFT video gallery images and put that on a cup? Is that possible as well?
Yes. So right now, there are GIF images for the Ethereum. What happens is it takes like a still, obviously, like, you know, maybe I'll get into making Harry Potter mugs or something like that. I'll figure that, you know, maybe you can help me.
Harry Potter building Uplift. Go.
Right.
Now.
But I mean the images where people move, you know what I mean? Like that, kind of thing from Harry Potter.
Yeah, we're going to need to develop smart matter. That might be a little bit further down the roll, right?
Maybe Turtle can help us with that. I'm pretty sure
they do have those, like, they do have those things where you look at them from the top down and the bottom up, though. They flip the images, right?
Yes.
I don't know how easy that would be, but it would be really, really interesting.
Yeah, so like,
honestly, it's cool, man. It's really cool. Like, your website is like really interesting, but like not half as interesting as the last, I don't know, 35.5 seconds. Like that little explanation and how excited you are about the possibilities behind this is just like, it's mind-blowing, really. And I don't think anyone's done this that I know of. I mean, a logo on a coffee cup was okay, but nothing like a freaking
it's fun, right? And I think like I think, you know, the number of collections that we're partnered with, right? I'm basically, listen, like, if you want your collection active in this system, you know, you're gonna have to let us know. And you know, I think there's just like an infinite number of ways we can take this, and it'll basically be an amazing way to serve the community and also be like a one-stop shop, right? Like, if you're connected to UpLift and you got, you know, a build or gallery or your project that's working with us or whatever, to suddenly be in here, and then I think it helps with like cross-pollinating too, right? Like the 100 projects that we're gonna get, you know, from Ethereum. Like, you know, a huge part of that is they're all going to be neighbors, right? They're going to be meeting each other. They're going to be coming to events. You know, they're going to be meeting all the projects and all the people from Wax, yada, 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 right? Like that, there's a lot of energy that comes from that. And then having them all have access to this, like, people will specifically start minting NFTs just for this. I mean, Jimmy, you nailed it right off the bat. Like, suddenly we need one that we don't have, right? So like, we need to do that, right? Or like, even like like just even the straight up logo, like, we don't have an NFT of that, but you're gonna need it to mint a fucking shirt.
Yeah.
So, you know, like it produces this interesting kind of bit of demand, and I think it's going to do that for other projects as well.
Well, yes, TC's got an interesting idea in the comments too. Sorry, go ahead, Andre.
Oh yeah, what I was gonna say is I was thinking a lot about artists, you know, honestly, because I see a ton of like great, amazing art out there on the NFT space. And when it was just getting started, yeah, a lot of people were going for the art, but now it's more like, okay, what can you do with it? Like, what's the utility? Do you have staking? You have this, you have that. So my vision is to have a community, you know, of collections and a lot of artists, you know, that can come in and contribute and be like, now you have more utility. Now you can have this amazing art, you know, in anything, in a t-shirt, in a sweatshirt, in a mug, or whatever you want, you know. So it gives another layer of, obviously, of things that you can do with it.
Yeah, hell yeah. Layers. Yeah, TC's talking about having to clean his whole closet out, I think, because he just wants to buy all this stuff only ever. Yeah, talking about like putting a QR code to, you know, video or music on a shirt. You know, I think that's kind of inevitable, right? I mean, that having an NFT that is, you know, 90% image, and in the bottom corner is you know, a QR code that's functional, so that can get printed on a mug, right? You know, is super interesting. And even on the flip side, right? Like the you know, like I'm sort of having this idea in real time, and I'm a little slow this morning, but like, you know, so I get, you know, I just popped into the website, so I bought one of those famed lady NFTs, right? Ooh. So like, I got a 1-to-1 PFP. I'm like, ooh, cool shit, whatever. But like, you know, I could you know, grab that picture, have it up, and mint it to its OpenSea thing, and have like a, you know, an open-ended freaking, like, you know, buy this off me for you know, 10 ETH or whatever, and I'll fucking send you the mug. I don't know, like something crazy, but like, or, you know, like if projects that maybe make it a little bit simpler. So
it's an expensive mug, man.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? It's yeah. It's like it's a 101 mug. I mean, come on now. But like if you own this, you can print your own mug.
You're gonna need a lot of bubble wrap. If that shows up broken, there's gonna be a lot of pissed off.
Yeah, 100%. It's gonna need its own wrapping. Yeah, but or even just to simplify it a little bit, like we get the like some of the screenshots that are sort of becoming iconic for us, Jimmy. Right? Like we mint one of those as an NFT. But in the bottom corner, have a QR code so that you point your phone at the QR code that gets you the NFT and you can buy the mug, right?
Yeah. Hey, remember that thing that I do?
Close the loop, I guess, right?
That thing that I do that we thought about, like maybe turning those things into NFTs. Imagine if the QR code directed you back to, I don't know, a whole explanation of a
100%
plot or a build, right? Like,
yes, times a trillion. Yes, yeah. Right. Like I think. Yeah, QR codes back to like that, and that's I'm in the projects that I've been talking to. They're gonna come build in DGen 1 and Ethereum or whatever, right? Like these are NFT projects. And the second they find out about QR codes, they're like, where do those QR codes go? And I'm like, anywhere, right? Like because it's funny that that isn't sort of more obvious sometimes, but and then the conversation becomes like you can send this to your link on OpenSea or a sales link, but what I would way prefer to see is you send it to a blog post about that piece. The OpenSea link is going to be in there. Obviously, that's super easy to do, but you end up with the story that really drives the value of this piece, right? Like what's the point of this art? Like what's the story behind it? If there is utility, and if there isn't, start thinking about it. But if there is utility, then what is that? What's the point of this? Where's the community? Or I mean, even just linking back to the Discord for Christ's sake, Jimmy, right? Like. Having an NFT that goes out for free to everybody in our Discord right now that gives people like an awesome image, and the QR code is a link back to the fucking Discord. Like, go buy that mug, please, and show everyone in the world, and then they can point the phone at it, and then suddenly they're in our Discord, and
Or even if it's a video, like Jimmy was saying, like. Take it back to the video, also.
Well, and the nice thing about that, going back to the video, is it like improves the views, it improves like the SEO, it improves our exposure. Like this is freaking, I don't know, man. This is like
in commission really... from every cell. Okay, TC has got some amazing ideas.
This is where like the PFP thing, I think, because there's so many of these projects out there, right? And people are trying to figure out, how do you get the sort of implied utility out of this one-on-one NFT? For example, I have my famed Lady Squad NFT, or even like my JRG the rapper, like with the UpLift hat, right? That I like scoured the universe for, or what have you. So could I list that on this system that basically puts it into like an open mug mint or whatever, right? Where I just put it out there. And I get like, I don't know, 5% or so, whatever number makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. Like I get a cut of all of that stuff that comes in because I own the NFT.
That's a really good idea. I was actually looking at that from at the bottom of the screen from TC, and
right.
I think that like this can go a million ways, and it can prop up like
that scales.
Yeah,
just to put my like the business hat on, right? If we make that a really simple thing to do, because you're a fucking genius, we can do this. It's not a problem. But when we do that, there's 100 trillion people with PFP projects, NFTs.
Yeah,
just saying.
Yeah,
right. And to get any project, right? If a famed Lady Squad wants to like, if I want to mint it, like we should almost make this rule, and obviously we can throw this rule out if it doesn't make sense, but Fame Lady Squad needs to have a freaking embassy in the UpLift, or like, sorry, like we can't use your PFP project. So get whoever's running your PFP project to get their embassy set up so that we will talk to them.
That's the idea behind it, so it all starts with the UpLift. And another thing that I wanted to talk to you about is how can we tie this back into the uplifting economy? So how I'm willing to give up a percentage, of whatever it is, to make sure that we have that ecosystem where we all win. So I like to give back, and I mean this because of that. Like my main vision at the end of it all is to be able to give back. And
what if buying what if a percent of your earnings bought UpLiftium off the open market and burned it?
I don't know exactly. That's beyond me, honestly.
Well, but I mean, like,
but that's a good idea.
If you can take wax, you can take lithium.
Yes.
Which is interesting, right? Well, and we could also set it up so that you need UpLiftium NFTs to do blends to get to the NFTs that you can actually put on the mugs, right? So like, there's a bunch of different ways to put UpLiftium sort of in that mix. But yeah, I mean, if you set it up so that you could take lithium, right? And even 1% went back to it's I want to set up, Jimmy, you might be right about the burn, but I want to sort of look at what happens if it rotates back into the rewards pool as an example, right? Or, because then like there's the monthly, top mugs drop of upliftium that, can go out to, the community or whatever. And then Andre, you could pick too, right? Because then it becomes an interesting promotional loop. Like, hey, so many people spent, every time you use lithium instead of wax or whatever to buy a mug, you get to 5% or whatever number makes sense. So the margins still work for the business, but like 1%, whatever it is, goes into this pool. And then, Andre and team decides how that gets rewarded, right? Like it could just get sent out to everybody, or there could be a build contest, or like there's 100 different ways to kind of, do that goes back out to and serves the Uplift community writ large, right?
Yeah, and it's better promo for you than just burning it too, to be honest. That's a good idea.
Yeah. I think like when it comes to burning it, I sort of feel like the DAO is pretty much going to be and I could be wrong about this. Like we could explore ways where this might not be true, but yeah, I think the DAO should be burning it, at scale. But we would love to see as many businesses be encouraged to tap into that ecosystem and be taking lithium or even just the NFTs, right? Like if you trade the NFTs in for coupons or whatever. Jimmy, coupons.
Coupons.
It only took 11 and a half months.
You finally got your way. Woohoo!
I'm gonna get my charger. I was really bad getting that, so if you don't mind, before I go off, so just give me like a minute if you don't.
Yeah,
mind.
no problem.
No worries.
I'm in testing the site out right now. Like I seriously can make a mug with my little. I've never owned like a PFP project on Ethereum before,
right?
And so I have one. It's really cool.
It's really cool. I like it. Yeah, I was looking around at it the other day when I set this up, and it's pretty interesting, and it kind of blew me away. And it's such a simple idea. I'm surprised that it's not more common. But I mean, I was talking about this the other day, and he's right. There is no use cases for a lot of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, and everybody knows the VIRL thing is going to be super lit. So he's just basically built the system where we could start plugging other people's projects into it, right?
Well, and somebody hit me up with a DM the other day, and it's like, hey, Jimmy, like I think obviously no one loves their moms anymore, because like my Mother's Day NFT, I only sold one, and I'm like, I felt bad, so like I went and called my mom, say Happy Mother's Day, and then I went and I bought one of the NFTs. But imagine if for Mother's Day you could put your NFT that you own on a mug and then give that to her, or on a pair of socks and give that to her, right? That's a much better use case than giving her an NFT. That's like giving her an NFT is kind of like giving her, if she's not into NFTs, it's kind of like giving her a digital photo, but she doesn't have a computer, right? Like it's kind of like, so if you could actually like wrap that NFT around a mug or put it on a phone case, it's like, hey mom, look, this is like what I built when you were yelling at me for not doing my homework. Like that's a really cool idea, right? Like it makes this a much more commercial aspect. And we don't have that. You're totally right, Andre.
And like for now, say you buy a mug. Right now we only have mugs, but as we get more products onboarded, you are gonna get emails for, hey, you minted this already. Now you can make this other one, which is a phone case or socks, or there are hundreds of products. So like we can turn it into, I think, even doggy merchandise, dog beds,
awesome.
Sheets. So you can live your NFT. You can have your entire house turn into your NFT if you want.
I mean, you're laughing at that, but I have a friend who had Airbnbs here in Japan back in the day, and like they had like Hello Kitty rooms, right?
Yeah.
Like so, like why not theme it out, right? Speaking of themes, right? Like if you go over to the announcements channel in the Discord, I published I don't know, 6 articles today of the 6 other side builds that were done in the UpLift world.
Those were amazing, yeah.
They were amazing, right? And like the images were great, like some of the ways that things were done. Like imagine that, right? Like on a piece of merchandise, right? Like one of the best pictures was that modded Outlaw one.
Well, and
it had the UpLift and the real one side by side. Like that's a really cool promo thing. Like, dude, that looks like a concert shirt. I would totally put that on a t-shirt, right? Like, sorry, go ahead. I got excited about that.
No, I like
we all get excited,
No, for sure. Like that, I think like well, and now on Nefty, we can do sales with splits, right? So like we say, the other side build things, and seriously, some of those look like you guys are unreal. Like what? Come on. But so many builds are like that, right? It's just like the second I saw those things this morning and the post you put up, Jimmy, like that. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised, but I am, right? At this point, like all of this should just be like, yeah. We make amazing, random, magical things happen every day. But it's still shocking to me. Anyway. We let them know, hey, this image, we're going to add this into the thing. We're going to sell, 1,000 NFTs up on Nefty. And if you're willing to, let us do this with the image of the amazing thing that you did, we'll cut you in for 50%. Who's going to say no to that? Yeah. Nobody. And the second you have the NFT, it just, here you go, it works. It's up, right?
Yeah. And I think a collaboration with Nefty is a must on this, so.
What exactly do we need from Nefty? Because and honestly, like I think again, putting a business hat back on, having sort of Nefty and UpLift sort of be the center of it. I'd love to see that happen. I mean, Nefty, they're gold, right? So if they have the ability then to go to projects and go like, hey, like, did you know you could do this because it is amazing? Then I mean, and talk about like an amazing onboarding thing for your project as well, right? Like just like having that constant flow of clients or whatever. I guess I wonder if there's a way to tag the mugs with a QR code that would go back to Top Custom Mugs. Yeah.
Yes, there is. I can add on top of these images any image.
Okay.
So yeah, like we can do a QR code to tie it back to Top Custom Mugs.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like if you are doing some kind of commission-based or collaboration, maybe it goes back into your own, you still have to go to Top Custom Mugs to get the merchandise.
To get it done. That's and I don't think like as like a promo, I don't think we need it. Right, because like there's gonna be so many people that are sort of dialed into this and just want a piece of it.
I'm looking at the products and it's like car seat covers, baby merchandise, bath maps, bath towels, leggings. So yeah, sweatshirts, hoodies, like once we have onboarded I feel like a good amount of products, and I'm gonna go by what sells the most, what people are looking for the most, like a hoodie, and that kind of stuff, socks. You can literally have face masks. You can literally walk around, turn into your NFT all over,
Dude,
I want to like having like I wonder, like even just my avatar, right? Like selling an NFT that's just like, I don't know, my doofus ball NASA t-shirt thing. For some reason, I just want that now. Because that way, like, I could be on a stream wearing my avatar while also hanging out underneath that giant statue that somebody built and then brought over somewhere else to have, like, you people are crazy.
Yeah.
But it gets meta. It gets meta up in the metaverse, man.
Yeah.
People don't know this, but like after permaculture, before the UpLift, I had a small business here in Japan where we used to make and sell, clothing, mostly women's clothing because it's easier. You don't need legs, and we used to do skirts out of like reformed kimonos and stuff. And like, imagine if that print was like your wraparound build from the UpLift, right? Like one of those other lands, like. Because like there's some like it's like this, right? Like if you had a print like this on a skirt or on a shirt, like those blocks would fit perfectly. Like some of those galleries, I mean this one, you know, this we haven't done this. Let's do this. That gallery that was done, you know, with all of the what's the name of it? I can't remember now. This one.
What? Oh, here, hold on. I wonder if we can get rid of ourselves.
The Royal Decks Gallery.
Royal Decks Gallery.
It's the image behind us.
Yeah. But like just that color pattern of those blocks.
Nice. I see.
Actually, hold there you go.
Like something like that would be like super cool, right? Like if you could do a print like that on anything, right? Like it's just it'd be really interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, and I believe they take, you know, like the partners that I have, they take anything. It all comes down to like playing and fiddling with the colors and the sizes and all of that, which I have figured out already a ton of it, like how to scale the image without losing the quality, for example, because the NFT, it's only so big. So if you want it on a big canvas, you need it to be bigger, obviously. So those are the nuances that I'm figuring out now. But first of all, I feel like the wax integration, which is something that I already have on my local development, I'm just testing that, you know, before I send it over. Then you're going to have the UpLift collaboration with wax. And I think right after we can start onboarding more products, you know, which is going to be the next stage. And then having partners, you know, so, hey, sign up for a partnership and then figure out exactly how we're going to split that and how we're going to split whatever income it comes from this, whatever percentage it is, back into the UpLift ecosystem.
Yeah, especially if we're sort of having people run through Upliftium to get it, right? I think that's sort of the best way to do that, sort of create some demand. If you thought of adding this merch to Amazon, is that even that would never even have occurred to me?
Possible, yeah. Yeah, I haven't thought about it, but it's a great, interesting idea.
Especially like so I'm like an NFT creator dude, or I just own one, right? Like I own one of these, you know, my Fame Lady thing or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know how feasible this is. Just yell at me if it's not. But we get it set up so that, okay, I own this NFT. I'm gonna like license it out so you can make coffee mugs out of it or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And like one button, post it to Amazon. Like, what?
It's, you know, now that you mentioned that, I've always tried to build things out, you know, so I've actually done something like that with other stuff, with a company I have that ships to Colombia. And with Amazon has an API that allows you to do all of that. So it'll be a matter of like, you probably having to go in and creating a store, something like that.
So I have an actual Amazon account. Yes. And then it automatically can just kick over from my site to making a listing on my Amazon account.
So you sign it up into the system. This is my Amazon store. That in turn gives us like a little API key, and with the API key, we can make it happen. So I feel like, you know, I'm not one to like, hey, I want it all for me. So I feel like if anybody has ideas and want to collaborate, I'm more than open,
and I think we're gonna have a lot of work to do on the near term. But if they're like, it seems like that's it. We would get sucked in that direction, right? The whole thing is, we want, you know, people that own these NFTs to be able to not only get something really cool for themselves, right? But, you know, potentially for these ones where you're sort of tacitly given the license to this image to make money. Well, here's an easy way that you can do it. Right? Go promote it, go do whatever you want, you know, like, you know, create some kind of demand around it or whatever. And then, you know, it's just a simple thing, you know, and all the work is done for you on the back end so that you could just have people freaking buying, JRD the Rapper fucking hoodies. Right?
Yeah.
And they like, I probably will, because if you've seen mine, it's awesome. It's got an Uplift hat and everything. But then even just like on the Uplift side, right? Like that, like how many ideas per minute will we have about NFTs that we then have to mint and get out in the market, right? So that, you know, that people can come over to do stuff. And again, to your point, right? If they use Liftium to pay for it, then some of that can get back into the ecosystem.
Yes.
Damn, Daniel.
Man, this is all great stuff.
This is an amazing way for you to get staked in DAO token in 4 months.
Yeah. And this is like Amazon. You can think Shopify.
Oh, yeah.
Like all of the e-commerce stuff that it's like, I'm actually writing stuff now because
it's good. Yeah. So yeah, TC, lots of UpLift fans. This would be huge to be able to buy, build merch. So for Upliftium, for a cost in Upliftium, say, we can go in and take a picture of your build and mint it as an NFT, right? And send you 10 of them, right? Or whatever, right? Like we'll figure out how we want to do this or what have you, right? They'll come with some significant cost in Upliftium, and maybe we put them on sale so we actually have some wax revenue or whatever. Now you own the NFTs, you can go sell them as much as you want, right? And yeah, like then they're actually like instantaneously active in the system, and now you're able to sell merch for your build.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's power.
that's money.
Yeah. Yeah. And then having it tied back into that's what I've been thinking about. What Jimmy's idea was like, tie it back into the NFT world. So tie it back into, hey, go visit my plot right over here. Hey, maybe here's something we can also do is maybe here is Minecraft membership. Log in, sign up, come into the UpLift. Like we can do this. Like that's all stuff that I'm thinking with like the income from this and how we can split it up is how can we make it easier for people to go into the metaverse?
Yeah.
And then back into the real world.
I mean,
so they're actually able to show this.
At least in the interim, and I have to double check this past sort of the DAO, but the first thought that comes to mind is like get a passport with every purchase. You don't need one, but now you have to give it away. Right? If you're part of the ecosystem already. And that's something that we could definitely, I don't know how many we could do, but that number is definitely not zero, right? Because that's a cool promo thing. It's connected to all the cool shit that we're doing in there. Like it just makes sense to keep the wheel turning.
Yeah. And I see the LAX robot there, so that's amazing, man.
Yeah.
That was done by Joker Craft.
So. I remember you telling the story about this and how like you and your son, when you saw it, you were just like blown away. Now imagine, your son, he goes to school and he's got like the LAX virtual robot image, right? Like on his lunchbox, and he opens it up and everyone's like, what?
And the other kids are going to be like, what is that?
Right.
Like, oh, scan this, or your parents to scan this,
Right.
Go get it, I think that's great. Yeah. And this robot actually, like LAX, the name from LAX comes from both of my kids. So one's name is Leo, the other one is Max. I was like, how do I do it so one doesn't feel like I prefer one over the other? So LAX, that's it ended up being like LAX, but that's the story behind it. And the robot was one of the first things that I had built in there. I have tons of stuff. The latest thing is the vampire layer, and that actually I already have some of the vamp images in there for the gallery. And what I can see there is the Sneaky Vampire Syndicate collection. Start putting stuff on like fam ladies, so do some of that, which again ties back into, hey, maybe we can turn this into a mug, and then I can go when I meet the vamps to the meetups or whatever, they'll be like, how do you have that? So they were already asking about like, this is my vamp. There it is. So they're already asking like, how did you get your vamp on that? And they were asking the people from the collection, like, how did he do that? And I'm like, well, just go to the website and do it. The website also has a little chat box icon on the top, on the bottom right. And that's meant for like any kind of support. If you can use it for some reason, like I'm still building it, and I don't have a team, so I can have somebody testing it and all of that. I'm the lone developer. And if you find something out, if you have something, just leave a comment there. That's actually going right into my phone, so I get the messages right away, and I probably will answer at any time. I'm always awake, so if anything, just let me know.
I mean, this is awesome. Yeah. I'm stoked, man.
I mean, I'm really excited, like not just for myself, but I can really see artists, I feel bad sometimes because it's like they did all the art, they did all this stuff and it looks amazing, but just because of the fact that it doesn't stake, people like walk away from it, and I wanted to make something like it's gonna help prop that up. So it's not like probably other stuff is gonna look good on it, but it's not gonna be the same as if you have an artist, do this stuff. It's gonna look a lot better on your T-shirt, on your face mask, or whatever you have on your mug. So I think that's my the way I think is that, like, how can I do something for me, but at the same time, how can I help provide something for somebody else? And I think that's, like, again, the win-win that we always talk about.
And I think just from, I think the reason I get the most excited about this is because, like, this project will make you a lot of money, and it should. Right? Hopefully, why? No, not hopefully. Like it like this is a thing that will work, right? Like the loop is closed. We're providing immense amount of value for people that are holding the NFTs. We're providing immense amount of value for the people that are minting the NFTs, right? And so, like, even just starting with our two networks, with NFT and with us, we're basically kind of all family anyway, right? Well, we know a lot of NFT projects, right?
Yeah.
Right. And again, like, and they can go do this themselves and go do it, right? Great.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to, here it all is, right? And that, I think, can produce its own network effect, especially, like when we get down to being granular enough so that we can say, like, actually for, one of one NFTs, right? We'll set it up so that, you have your own mug minting page, right?
Yeah.
And, you're getting the cut of this. Go promote it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't, like, you like as like a degen freaking backup thing, like,
yes.
I'll make money doing that. Probably like $10 or whatever. Who fucking cares? Like, and then the number of people that are in this industry that that are coming into it, that are in the space, that are like degenning out on stuff or whatever, like the number of entrepreneurial people that are like, wait a minute, like I could get one of these one of one art build NFTs from the UpLift, right? That I just committed us to making. Right. Yeah. And if I own that NFT, I can put it on Andre's system and, like, just make merch out of this. Like, I could. What if I had 1,000 of them? What if I had 1,000 pieces of land and I had 1,000 different images and I had one of one NFTs for each one of them? By the way, all the Ethereum NFTs are going to be one of one. Wink, right? And you're going to be able to burn upgrade to one of one NFTs on Wax before too long. Winky wink, right? Like all of that funnels into, I now have a merch business with 100 different things that I can go out and, like, I'm quitting my job the next day.
Well, there's another really interesting aspect, because one of the things, like, there's some cool art. I think, take the mall gallery, for example, right? The mall gallery is great, right? Like, it's got some amazing art in it, right? But that art is not a place. The mall gallery is a place. And what makes the mall gallery so special is that mall gallery mends those blocks and those tree leaves, the forefront that kind of, shrouds Yoda in that one area, or the blocks that are spewing out in the middle of the room in the starship area into a still image, like what it would be if you're walking around the city and you're snapping a picture. There's a 3D kind of thing to that, right? Now, what happens when you see that image on an NFT of your art in a gallery, and then that goes on a t-shirt, or that goes on a coffee mug, or your gallery that you took the time creating, with your friends or your kids, goes on a t-shirt. This is like an experience that TC, like, has memory for you, right?
Right. Yeah. TC, how much, let's say, one of your builds, like your favorite build of yours right now, right? How much are you paying for, one of the people on our team, or even for you to take a screenshot or whatever, right? Like, to get a screenshot of your build, like, obviously we will know that you own it, right? Which I think is something that we're going to want to pay attention to, or at least think about. And we mint a one of one NFT that's active in this system. Like, what's the I have a number in my head. I'm curious to see if you come up with the same number. Like, what's that worth to you? Like, what should we charge for that? We'll let TC sit with that. Because I mean, again, people always asking like, what's your ongoing, revenue plan for the Uplift, right? And like, I think the subscription model that we talked about, I actually talked to Cowie and Mackie again about that this morning. There's a lot of energy behind it, kind of leaning towards the Fortnite. You pay a season pass and you get access to more stuff, and like the goal will be like, a whole bunch of kind of onboarding style and really cool actions that then get you way more value in NFTs than you spent on it, right? Like that, there's just really cool ideas around that. And that's ongoing, right? Like we can only ever make that cooler, right? And then there's all the events or whatever. But Andre, you just opened up a can of whoop ass on on people being able to turn their creativity into the space into real stuff.
Yeah.
Danny, I keep waiting right to uplift you. Can you give me that in dollars? I was thinking in dollars, but sure. I don't even know what that is anymore.
In the uplift into dollars. Oh, so you don't know the conversion?
I don't. I'm gonna find out, right? I'm gonna find out right now.
Yeah, that's probably like 500,000 upliftium, something like that.
Yeah, something. Hold on here.
Boop, boop, boop. There's so many currencies that you just have to keep up,
Yeah, I'm just not that cool.
I just look at it like if it's upliftium, it's upliftium. If it's ETH, it's ETH. If it's wax, it's wax. And forget the rest,
So it's about 27 wax a million. It's a 270 wax, which is about $27, give or take right now. Maybe 30. All right. That's it's about $30. Yeah, that's not bad. I was actually thinking 3 times that much, but I'm crazy. So this is why we ask these questions. But no, I think it would make sense. And honestly, even as a promo thing, it's so good for the Uplift to have these things all over the place anyway, right? Yeah. So like pricing it so that we do that, I think makes a ton of sense. I guess then if we did it for,
I don't know, man. It's a 101 NFT.
Right. I think so. That's the other thing about it. Like it being a 101 NFT. That's why I was thinking $100. Now for this, I don't think we can take Liftium for this. Right. I think the merch site can and should take up Liftium. Because like generally speaking, if we take up Liftium, we burn it. That's not a revenue situation for us, and we need revenue. So we're going to have tons of ways to burn up Liftium. But still, right? Like Wax or Ethereum or wherever we're going to be at. Yeah, that's interesting. Maybe we'll just meet the difference and just make it $50. We actually, you know what? The first 100 we do it. The first 100 we do at $30, and then we start raising the price.
Yeah. Find an equilibrium,
I think it's way undervalued. And like you could release 10 NFTs of UpLifters Tower, so 10 people could go in and mint them, right? Like you wouldn't have to have a 1-of-1 in every situation, in every scenario, in every case.
Why? But in this, I wonder, the whole point, I mean, that's a possibility, but I want to like apply the simple rule to this, right? Like, and this is when Andre has the system set up so that I, as like an NFT holder, can bring my, PFP in and basically list it as, other people can, buy merch from that. Right. And I get a little cut every time somebody buys one of those things or whatever. Right. So that's very, very interesting. You'd want to have I think you'd want to have the 101 right now, but I think like we table that and think about it a little bit more.
I want the 101. I just think people should pay more.
No, I agree. That's why I was thinking $100, right? Because like if I have $100 and now, now I've got this asset that can print money, like, come on now. And not like, fucking Aether dollars, right?
I mean,
for people buying stuff that they want. Like, that's real business. It's not like, fuddy-duddy game shit, which, don't get me wrong, I'm a fucking DJ like the rest of you weirdos. So, like, I get that. But, yeah, well, TC's talking about the price of Upliftium going up. Like, we've got a bunch of different ways to do that. And at the end of the day, like, we need to make money. The way the price of Upliftium goes up is, Andre just taking Upliftium for all this. You should take dollars in Ethereum and everything else. But giving that as an option and then burning it all to get DAO token, which I highly fucking recommend. like that's like, I'm not saying that I'm really, really bullish on what the DAO token is going to do, but I am. And you're not going to, there's only one, like TC, you're the only person here. You're not going to hear me talking about being bullish about the DAO token. Like it's just us here. Right? So like, we might have to delete this after. We're not but no, I think like it's going to be strong. Like we've got a really good plan for it. So I think, there's anyway,
for me, it all ties to, like, for example, LAX right now, everything that gets purchased on LAX, it gets that market percentage, that you get for people buying on your marketplace. Mm-hmm. That percentage, I save it up and I buy new plots, So when I started LAX, it was like I had like 15 plots. Now I have 35 or 34. So, so it's all been with money from LAX,
That's awesome. That's cool.
To buy more and more. Yeah.
And it's interesting. So I see those those posts on Twitter pop up all the time, right? LAX Virtual Land posts every time something is listed, or every time something is sold. There's an automatic Twitter post that goes out, and it's always really cool to see like what's on the market or what gets sold, and it always makes me smile, because I remember the first day that Corey and I met you. I think it was after a live show that we did, and like it was really early days. Like I don't even know. Like I think like Dr. Wayne was still lost in a boat somewhere out east. Like we don't even know. It was really early days, and it was like one of the funnest, friendliest early meetings that we had ever really had. And it's. Yeah, you've been here longer than some of the team, so just thanks for hanging around and doing your best, right? Like it's awesome to see.
I gotta say, I'm looking at the I haven't looked at this in a while. The Wax Liftium all-time chart has a really, really nice line to it. Like the lows, like this chart is starting to look kind of sexy, and really, it's because we've been really, really, really careful with inflation. And we're going to be adding a whole bunch of demand variants to it pretty soon. So I think, like over the next 3-4 months, I think Liftium's going to do really well. So that's fun.
Yeah,
just the whole freaking thing, and like all of this, guys, when the market's taking a giant shit, like everyone working in the space right now that is excited as I am, like Andre, obviously you're one of those people. TC is too. We had an amazing conversation with Nefty Yuan yesterday. If you guys haven't seen his rant, like go find it. It's like I was like, who are you? It was amazing. Did you just say fuck Yuan? Like, holy shit. But yeah, I mean, like it and Jimmy and I have been talking about this constantly off air. Like, why we shouldn't feel good right now. Like we should be scared. Like, why aren't we scared? I'm like, I don't know, but it's better this way, right? Like, and being able to actually be in this situation where we're doing real business, right? We're finding really cool ways to help other people to make some money, buying stuff they want, right? Like that's not a fucking ICO, right? Like that's not some like magic, hey, we buy this white paper for $1 trillion so we can like pretend to make something that's going to fail, right? No. Like, we're actually doing real business, which is why the price of Bitcoin can go up, the price of Bitcoin can go down, and we're still going to grind the next day, right?
Yeah. I think regardless of the economy or regardless of how it is, if you are passionate about your business, and it's why I love the UpLift so much, because I actually got to meet you behind the scenes, and just as you are passionate here, everyone on the team is, and I had long conversations with Tuttle where like those were some of the best I've had, and she just blew my mind on some of the stuff. But I see the passion behind, and for me, any company, anything you do, if you are passionate about it, that's money to me. It doesn't matter how the economy is, doesn't matter how things are, doesn't matter how things are going bad or whatever. Eventually, it's gonna go up. So that's why I'm so relaxed about it. Like I'm working more, but at the same time, it's like, I'm working more because I want to put more into into the crypto, everything, while still be able to pay, everything with the inflation and everything. So
how sorry, skipping ahead, having it like I'm having rolling MVP thoughts now. When will we see the ability to have a Wax NFT run through this process?
So that's actually my goal, is to have it by the end of the week. Obviously the goal is not always the ideal.
No, this is good. So
times two usually. So maybe by the end of next week.
Okay, so like we're talking about on the weekend, yada yada. So here's what I'm thinking, right? When that's available, and I have to talk to Juan about this, but we do like because we've never actually done an UpLift logo, right? And like 18 million people have asked me for like how to get like Alpha Wing t-shirts, right? So maybe we can even use that. So we mint an NFT or two on the UpLift collection, and do the same thing with Nefty, right?
Yeah.
So we let them know, like, we think you should do a new one, but if you want, just give us a couple templates, whatever, right? And we basically have like a kickoff party, like the first say 4 NFTs that are available anywhere on Wax are from UpLift and Nefty, right? And so we put those on sale. People can buy the NFTs, they can mint the stuff, yada yada yada, right? And we set that up so that it the numbers make sense and everybody get really, really excited about it. And then what I think, and I have to talk to the DAO about this, but what I'd like to do is from those first couple NFTs, we basically cut your project in for half of that, just to help bootstrap, right? Because I think like really incentivizing you to keep grinding your ass off on this stuff is something that we should really do.
And I can also hire, like I know some developers, but obviously you need to like put the money,
Yeah. So let's having a like a bootstrapping party and people then suddenly are able to get some things that we know they're gonna want, right? Like I need one. I don't have an Alpha Wings mug. Are you kidding me right now? Come on now. And the only Uplift mug I have has the dumbest joke that anyone ever does that I do all the time on it, and I can't change that.
It's a pretty good one, though.
Yeah, that's what she said.
From all of this, what if within the scan code, the barcode, we can also have like sort of like Willy Wonka, like a golden ticket, so get the mugs and one of you is gonna get this golden ticket, and with this golden ticket you get, I don't know, a trip to Tahiti. I don't know what it is.
It's interesting. It's interesting that you did that, because my mind was rolling for Corey and I's show NFT, and I was like, what if we sold like 50 Austin Linney NFTs, and one of them got you a free T-shirt with Austin Linney on it, right? Like
yes.
Right, like that. I was thinking the golden ticket the other way around, right? Like that's a really cool idea too.
Yeah.
And that, like, in the same way that we immediately can start thinking about, oh, hey, wait a minute, like the show's gonna have its own NFT collection or whatever. Like all you can see right off the bat, it's not if we're gonna play with this, Andre, it's how we're gonna play with this, right?
Yeah.
Every other NFT project that's out there is gonna be clamoring to be part of this, and I think it's a really, really cool and fun plan to basically have Uplift World, and if you're cool that Nefty be the kind of the gatekeepers of that. Because they're like, we're kind of the networks, and Nefty even more than us, right? Like that, like they've got tons. And by the way, Jimmy, I've been asking them to get us weekly snapshots of all the people that are planning on doing drops for the week, ahead, just we can actually start doing some promo for them on that.
Yeah, I've been talking to them too. I think they just had a really busy week last week.
Yeah. Well, I know.
I'm all for Nefty, because I like what they have built. Like it's amazing, and they have probably spent tons of time doing it. Like a ton of people don't realize what the amount of work that goes behind this.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, let me get some partnerships, because I don't want to reinvent the wheel. I want to do what I do best, which is the mugs, this and that. Let Nefty handle, what Nefty can do best. So
right. Well, and that's between the even if it was just Uplift or whatever. It lets us be your voice for that, and you never have to do a millisecond of marketing, which
exactly.
They're visionaries and some of the hardest workers in the space. And Andre, that's what people are going to say about you in 6 months.
3.
That's what I want.
Right.
That's what I want. And like I have so many things in my head. Basically, like my main thing, and I've told Corey before, my dream is to build AI arms for people with disabilities. So that's where all of this is going to. And I've already started with a 3D printer that I got, and I'm building through an organization called Enable, just the simple arms. You need a little stuff, but like it'll move, it'll grab cups and all of that. But when I started engineering, that's what I had in mind. I want to be able to build arms and legs and prosthetics for those. I mean, affordable, not like 100,000. No. I want to build this as an AI that's open source, that any developer can go in and make changes. So all of this is going like over there in my foundation that I'm getting started in Colombia to help these kids, because they have a lot of landmines over there with the guerrilla and the civil war that's going on in the less fortunate areas, like not in the cities. And I want to get back. I'm truly blessed. I'm not a millionaire or anything, but I'm super excited about life. I feel like everything that I've wanted, I got, you know, so I want to use my talent for the better of everybody. You know, that's where I'm coming from. And when you say these things, like, that's what immediately pops into my head. And obviously, like everything else, you know, like that comes with success, you know. But yes.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, man, Andre, and we'll have you back too. Like the second that the waxing is going.
Yeah.
No, and I think I'll chat with Juan about it and see what he thinks about, you know, having some kind of kickoff thing or whatever. We'll all do it together. Like we get back on the show and launch it and you know, have a mug minting party. Oh yeah, you know what? That's that dude in Montreal, right? TC, we should hook them up. That's smart.
Yeah.
Super duper smart. All right. Jimmy, we're late for Tuttle Huddle, so we got to rock and roll.
Thank you, guys.
Andre, you're really a badass. Grateful. Freaking love you.
Come back anytime. And good luck with with everything, and we'll see you all again very soon. Later.
Choppy chop.